All right, and we're back to talk about The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 8. This episode is entitled Made to Suffer, and it was directed by Billy Gerhardt and written by Robert Kirkman, which makes it so cool because Robert Kirkman wrote the comics, so he wrote the episode as well. We get kind of introduced to some new characters. We infiltrate Woodbury. Brothers reunite. It's an emotion-filled episode. I'm Justin.
Yeah. I'm Jessi.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. Before we begin, of course, obligatory affiliate link promotion, but you should check them out. They're awesome. I'm talking about moviepalette.com. They sponsor the channel and help make it possible, so please go to moviepalette.com, type in your favorite movie, and get yourself an awesome piece of art made by fellow movie buffs. So, Jessi, getting into this episode, we finally get into Woodbury, and I'd say this episode was pretty intense.
So intense. Like, I couldn't even handle myself.
I mean, like, I hate to skip ahead here, but how did you feel about the governor and Michonne's little tussle?
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
She's a beast, right? Like, he's like twice her size, and she handled him like a pro.
Yeah, and I love how she just went in there and sat. Like, she was just waiting. And then she had no mercy for his daughter. Well, I guess it depends on how you're looking at it. I guess she did because she killed her. That is like a mercy killing. But as far as the governor goes, she was like, and just like,
and she said that right before she stabbed him. She said,
Yeah, probably, yeah, she did the little
in her head. In her head. She was like,
Yeah.
But no, Michonne absolutely beasting. So, what did you think about this episode? What really stood out to you? What was good? What was bad?
Oh my God. I think when I realized that they had actually got Daryl, they captured Daryl, and I was just like, there's no freaking way. Out of all those people, Daryl was the one that they captured. Come on.
They got separated. Well, Daryl stayed back to provide cover for them. So it's like, I mean, I totally agree if it was like, oh, he was being, but like he got caught because he stayed back so that he could provide cover fire for them to get away. Yeah. We lost Oscar.
Yeah,
that
poor
was sad.
Oscar.
Like
another part that kind of like made me gasp was when Michonne and the governor were fighting, and he like smashed her head into the like aquarium with the zombie heads, and yep. I didn't realize that they were still like animated, mm-hmm. and they were like chomp chomp. It was wild.
And they said that before every bite. They said chomp chomp.
They did. I mean, they have that sound with their teeth though.
It's a very vocalized episode.
They have.
That's really good. I can't do that. I feel like I'll break my teeth if I do.
Yeah, that hurt. I don't want to do it anymore.
But yeah, no, it was definitely tense, man. I mean, the fight, he got off, like I said, I told you last episode, he got off so much easier than he did in the comics. Let's just say that. She stabbed him in the eye with a broken piece of glass, which looked extremely painful.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely painful. But yeah, so Rick and crew coming to Woodbury like a bunch of bosses.
Bosses.
I feel bad for that one guy that thought they were kids in the library. He's like, I see you kids in there. I've seen the flashlights. Rick's like, shut your mouth. Get in here.
Yeah. Oh, and then when Rick thought that he saw Shane.
Won't that trippy?
Yes. Because I like knew it wasn't. But at the same time, I was like, could it be? But Rick's just kind of losing his mind a little bit. Or it's still lost.
And that hesitation got Oscar killed pretty much. Because the guy that he thought looked like Shane was the one that shot Oscar with the shotgun. The slow-mo shot he takes is the shot that killed Oscar.
And Axel being a skis ball.
Yep.
But I didn't see that coming from him. He was so, like, his character just, like, switched.
Well, and I don't necessarily look at him as a skis ball as much as I do a man that's been a straight man locked in a room with a bunch of other men. He didn't necessarily, I mean, he was like, I mean, it was pretty creepy. He's like, 17, huh? Interesting.
Exactly. And I wish y'all could see how I'm looking at Justin right now, because as soon as that happened, I was like, And then he was like, talking to Carol, and he's like, well, Maggie's with Glenn, and you're a lesbian.
Because you
He's
got
like,
the hair.
The short hair. And then he was like, oh, well then, oh. I just didn't expect that from Axel.
Well then. Yeah, he's a little wuss. And then Carl meets some new people at the prison. What do you think about them? I know you hadn't got to spend a lot of time with them yet, but any first impressions?
Yeah, I mean, I like them. So far, so good. I mean, they're just on the run trying to do what Rick and them are doing. Like they seem like good people. So, and they kept that one girl that got bit, as long as they could, and then they wouldn't let Carl kill her. They were like, no, we take care of our own. So it just reminds me of Rick's group. Yeah,
Tyrese, the kind of leader of that group, the big buff dude. He's a good dude. I like Tyrese. I like that character.
Yeah, I like him too. And Carl, man, he is like a little badass.
Yeah, he's becoming quite the badass. I guess you really don't have a choice in the apocalypse. You either become a badass or you die, and that's just basically it. And Carl's, one thing, he gets on my nerves some through the show, but one thing I can give him credit for is he definitely did not choose to be a victim. No. He decided he wanted to be a badass and wanted to, fight and protect. And
he wants to follow in his father's footsteps, which is not a bad thing.
I want to be like my daddy. I love my daddy.
Yeah, so.
I love your daddy, too.
Pocket sand.
Get out of here, Daryl. I don't know why now Carl talks like Herbert the pervert.
Oh, is that the dude?
You look all alone in this here jail cell.
I did not know that was his name.
Yep. I might only be 10 years old, Beth. Well, maybe we'll say 11, but I can teach a 17-year-old a thing or two. Ooh. But no, and so I don't know about you, but as much as Andrea, you hadn't responded. Have you liked those videos I've sent you of that guy just straight trashing Andrea, like when she shot at Daryl?
I still haven't watched it.
Jessi.
I'm sorry.
Jessi.
It's
you are
ADD
all over
at its
social
finest.
media. You mean to tell me you can't watch a quick little tic-tac that I sent you?
I didn't intentionally not look at it. I definitely went back in there to look at it, and something else distracted me. It happens, okay? I'm sorry.
I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
I'm going to look at it
My feelings
tonight.
are hurt. Like, that's 2 tic-tacs I've sent you that you hadn't watched.
2?
Yeah, I sent you. It's the same guy. He did 2 different videos. One about Lori walking away from Rick.
What? I thought you only sent me 2, and I watched the first one that you sent.
Oh, did you watch the first one? Okay, well then you've seen the first one. The second one is the scene where it's the same guy talking about the scene where Andrea shoots Daryl by accident. But like I thought this episode when she's like, I'm gonna help, and then she's it's like go sit down, Andrea. Stop. Even the guy who's taking that ass to Pound Town don't want your help. Like stop.
Well, he don't want her to find out.
He's probably
all the stuff.
Hell, if she fights the way she screws, I don't want her fighting for us.
Well, I mean, I feel like he knew that the reason they were there was for Glenn and Maggie, and also if he didn't want her to find out about Glenn and Maggie.
Yeah, I think that's definitely why they were. He knew that's probably what that was for.
But Andrea cannot do what she is told.
How do you think the arena thing between Daryl and Merle is going to go?
They're going to fight?
No, I'm saying, do you think they're going to get out? Do you think they're going to have to fight? What do you think is going to have to happen? I mean, they're in a fighting arena. I
think they're going to have to fight till the death. I already thought that before you said something. I think they're going to have to fight to the death. Like, that's what the governor is going to want. But I think either A, Daryl is going to kill Merle, or B, Rick is going to come back in and sniper Merle, and somebody's going to come in and Daryl's going to get away.
You think Merle would be that quick to fight his brother to the death?
No, but I think that Daryl probably would, if that was the only option, and knowing what he knows now about Merle, maybe.
I'm sorry, brother. I have to get back to Rick.
Yeah.
Pocket sand.
His little butt buddy.
Arena sand.
Exactly.
He announces like every attack. Daryl punch. Daryl kick.
Daryl karate. I mean, Daryl karate.
Daryl karate chop.
Daryl roundhouse kick to the head.
Stop calling out your attacks.
Daryl katana, except there is no katana. I'm just doing the hand motion and the sound. Swing.
So do you think that this is going to make Rick closer to Michonne? Because he already was still kind of not trusting her there in the beginning, if you try.
I don't know. When we left off, I think he took her katana and they all had guns pointed at her.
Because she just disappeared.
Yeah, but they don't know why, because Michonne is a very secretive ninja and she don't like to tell people her feelings.
She is very secretive and very withdrawn into herself until she gets to know you.
Yeah, which is probably the best way to be.
And she's got so much love to share.
I mean, stored in that tiny little beautiful body.
She is a small gal, but she fights she's 120 pounds, but she fights like she's 220 pounds.
Yeah, I doubt she's even 120. She's so lanky. I love it because you don't expect so much power to come from those skinny little lanky arms.
That's why she's such an effective ninja.
Exactly. That's why she's so sneaky.
Yeah, she's awesome. I was really sad in this episode to see Oscar go, though. I was kind of like, why does The Walking Dead keep introducing us to cool black characters and then killing them and then immediately replacing them with another black character?
Right?
Oscar dies and now we got Tyrese.
You know what's funny is when Tyrese came into the picture, I was like, oh, okay, they're bringing in more black dudes. Maybe they didn't just replace T-Dog. And then this happened.
There's enough room in this prison for, in this show. You can have several, black guys in the show. It's cool. I don't understand. And it will grow. The show will certainly diversify as it gets into itself. But it definitely is a period where people were accusing them of that. And you can totally see why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where were we? Where was the world 10 years ago? Because if that's where we were, that's sad. It's
real sad.
We've come a long way.
I still miss my poor T-Dog.
Me too.
I would have traded Oscar for T-Dog. I liked Oscar. I hate that. I mean, I guess it's the thing that we love though is that it's about the show is anybody can die at any time. But you really started showing us Oscar's character as in this was going to be some trustworthy, honorable, awesome dude down the road, and then 2 episodes later he's got buckshot in his side.
Yeah, and now we're left with Axel.
Mm-hmm. Now you're left with Axel. 17. Interesting. What if Carol flashed it? Wouldn't it be interesting?
Well, I'm glad Carol stepped in.
Yep.
He is a nasty little dude.
He's a Weasley looking little bastard in this show.
I know. You know what? I figured out who he looks like, and I don't think it's the same person, but remember how I thought he looked familiar? Mm-hmm. In Men in Black 3, I think it was, at the beginning when Boris the animal breaks out of the prison, he goes up to this one dude, I think his name is Obadiah or something like that, and the dude's like, you said you'd help me out, boo. And then so he looks like that dude. But he gets killed right away. But anyway.
I have to go back and watch that.
Oh, it's the best one. But anyways.
So because it doesn't happen, I can tell you, but that's actually a reason why they were doing that. So it doesn't play out this way. But originally, a little behind the scenes, Oscar was going to be revealed, which I don't know why having tattoos makes you a felon, but it was originally going to be revealed, you don't see it, but later that he has a ton of tattoos. And then essentially he was going to kidnap and drag Beth out into the woods or murder her or something. Axel was going to be a serial killer, which harkens back to the comics because actually there was a character in the comics named Thomas and it's a whole nother thing. But in the comics, Herschel has 2 twin girls. He has a lot of kids in the comics, way more than just Maggie and Beth. He's got a ton of kids in the comics. So he's got the 2, he's got Billy. It's a couple of people that we don't even see in the show, but he has these 2 twin girls, and Thomas decapitates them, and Herschel finds them in the prison. These are little girls, maybe 10, 11. and he kills them. And so, Tomas, they kind of swapped them in the show as being the psychopaths, but they were actually going to kind of have Axel take that route and then decided against it, which is interesting because in the comics, Axel was this big, fat, jolly guy, like a cool guy, like vibe, hippie, kind of big biker dude, like, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Type dude. But instead, they made him a skinny, kind of weaselly guy that I think we're supposed to like a little bit. I don't know. I
don't like him anymore. When he had that little interaction, I kind of thought for a minute that maybe he was not in prison for pharmaceuticals. Maybe he was in there because he was a pedophile.
Well, and that was I'll be part of the reveal. It was like he was in there for being a serial killer. And then, which would be a good twist. The whole, please don't kill us. I don't want to die. That would have been a great little reveal. Like, oh, man, he was just acting that whole time. But, yeah, I like this episode a lot. Where do you think we're going from now? How do you think Rick's going to react to these new people in the prison?
Well, we already know Rick don't trust anybody. But Carl got them all locked up now, and I don't know. I think he'll be really proud of Carl, first of all. Second, I don't know. I think they seem like really good people, so I think at first he's going to be kind of like, but he'll come around because I think he'll realize pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting that Carl could, like, control a group of strangers that way.
Well, they needed help. They were about to get ate. And then, I mean, it's like he came out of nowhere, like, and he's a really good shot. Like, he heard that one zombie creep up behind him, and it scared me. And as soon as he turned around, he's like, pow, like right in the head.
Yep. What do you think? Now, we didn't even talk about Glenn and Maggie being rescued.
Oh, my God.
What about when they used the bones to, like, stab the people?
Yeah. Did they end up doing that?
Yeah. Maggie, like, shanked one dude in the throat.
That's right. That she was using a bone. I didn't realize she was using a bone.
Like, she said it before she did it. She was like, shank. And then she shanked him.
Did she say that?
we're gonna pretend she did.
She should have. Yeah, that whole scene was I got chills. I had full body chills watching that.
And Glenn's looking rough.
Yeah, poor thing.
He's had a tough go of it. I mean, Maggie certainly has too, but And I like
definitely, I definitely thought one of them was going to die this episode.
I like that Glenn tells Daryl that Merle is there, and then Daryl's like, "We got to find him."
Yeah.
And then Rick's like, I need you, brother." Like all Hulk Hogan-ish. "Come on, brother. Yeah. I need you,
brother."
Daryl's like, "All right, Rick. Only if I get to be the little spoon tonight."
I hated that for Daryl because after Glenn and Maggie were like telling Daryl about his brother, and Daryl was like, "Maybe if we find him, I can just talk to him." And it's so sad because no, that's not going to happen. And he's realizing now, like, his brother's not worth saving.
Yep.
So that's why I think if they do have to fight to the death, I think that Daryl would be able to do it, but not Merle.
Were you sad to see the governor all helpless and stabby-eyed, holding his dead daughter and crying?
I loved it. But also, why was his eye gauze white the entire time? And then right at the end, it just had, like, blood at the bottom of it?
Because maybe the bleeding had slowed at that point.
There was no blood on it at all. And then all of a sudden, there's just a little bit, like, at the bottom.
How'd you feel about the governor calling Merle a terrorist, like a traitor?
I didn't even know who he was talking about.
Did you feel bad for Merle?
Did I feel bad for Merle?
Did you feel bad for Merle?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I didn't.
What?
Why would I?
I mean, I felt bad for Merle because he wasn't a terrorist or a spy.
Yeah, but Merle kind of, like, sowed his own. You know what I mean?
I mean, he'd done some shitty stuff, and this is definitely kind of karma coming back to get him. But with that said, like, I felt bad because he was like, you know, he I don't know. I kind of felt bad for Merle. Do you think Merle's going to get any kind of redemption?
No.
You don't think so?
I think he's going to die.
You don't think Merle has a chance to, like, redeem himself in the eyes of the Lord?
Nah.
Jesus
maybe
forgives Jessi.
In the eyes of the Lord, maybe, but I don't think that's going to come into
Not in
play.
the eyes of Jessi.
No, I mean, really, if that happens, that's the last thing I expect.
So where do you see it going from here? I mean, so now effectively Rick and the group have attacked Woodbury.
Yeah.
You know, the governor's been assaulted, lost an eye. His daughter's been killed. Where do you see it going from here?
I still think the governor is going to die. I don't think that, for some reason, I think Rick's group is going to come back. Or at least, I don't know. I think they're not going to leave without Daryl. I think they're going to come back. Maybe they're going to kill Merle, maybe. And the governor. I think maybe Michonne still has it out for him. Maybe she's going to go back and finish the job.
Okay, so you think Michonne might go back and kill the governor?
I don't think they're going to leave Daryl. I don't think they would do that.
What if they get back and Rick's like, hey, Axel, I'm way over 17. And then Axel's like, interesting. And then he's like, you're my new Daryl. And Axel's like,
get some of this Rick dick.
And then Herschel's like, this is interesting.
Oh my God. This is getting too crazy. You're too crazy. You're too wild for me.
Oh, this is straight from the Barn of Pleasures.
La.
Like Daryl will escape and watch from the prison walls with like a sad song playing. No. Where are you, Rick?
What is that creepy song? It's like tiptoe to the window. That one.
Yep, actually that is Tiny Tim, and I know a guy whose grandmother dated him.
Shut up.
I do, yep.
Ew. Sorry, ew.
Ooh. That whole thing is, yeah, it's kind of eerie. But
I don't like that. You did that really good, though.
Ooh, I do voices all right. It's almost like I use my voice for a living.
Almost. I mean, maybe you should look into that.
It's hard to get into it.
That's what I hear. It's probably not even worth trying.
Prison say like Daryl just comes back in. He's like, I'm getting you back, Rick. And him and Axel have to fight to the death, you know, and he's like, prison saying. Axel's like,
sand.
Interesting. Where does he keep getting all this sand from?
His pocket. Duh. He like runs out and he's like, I gotta run out, guys. I gotta go re-up my pocket sand.
I'm getting low on sand, Rick. Go, Daryl, and get some more sand.
Can I borrow some of that? I did the wrong voice. Can I borrow some of that formula until I can get some more pocket sand?
See, now you're making Daryl sound like an old woman who lives in the mountains and sweeps her porch.
There's a reason why you get paid to do your voice, and I don't.
I need more sand. I love you, Rick. All the sand in the world couldn't change the way I feel about you.
That's precious. Love.
Pocket condom.
Ew. It's like out of the packet and it's got like sand stuck to it.
Daryl, there's too much sand on that condom. I'm sorry,
make
Rick.
Me have a UTI.
Another pocket condom. He sure does got a lot of stuff in them pockets.
I'm sorry. They're used, but it's all I could do in the zombie apocalypse.
Do you think the governor is going to be out for revenge? I mean, his daughter, who he saw very much as alive, is now dead, and he's missing an eye. I mean, do you think that he would be brave enough to attack the prison?
I think he's cocky enough to think that he can. But also, another reason I don't think Rick and them are going to leave is because they know that Maggie and Glenn told them where the group was. So I don't think Rick would just leave and let them know. I think he's going to try to off them.
Did you like poke yourself in the forehead there to... What are you doing? You picking a wedgie or something?
I was scratching my leg.
Okay.
No wedgies right now.
No judgment. Legs itch. It happens.
Anyway, I didn't poke myself in the head.
Oh, I thought you would do this. Like poking yourself in the forehead.
Will that work? Will it help?
I thought you were just like signifying he's going to off him. Like shoot him in the dome.
Oh, yeah. I think I did. Like,
See, I'm not that crazy.
Sorry. I don't know what my body does most of the time.
That was my excuse in my younger years.
It's still my excuse now.
But I will say that I'm telling you, man, this season's so good. You get like every episode, some schnitz popping off. So
you were not wrong about that.
I'm so stoked for you. It ain't like season 2's pacing. Like this season, like man, schnitz getting real quick.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I wanted to keep watching.
Why did you yawn? And then you made me yawn. That was not fair. But all right, before we wrap it up, let's rate this episode. Put those hands where I can't see them and come out with a rating. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Pocket hand.
Oh, I thought you gave it a 4. I was like, Justin.
No, I give this one a 5. I think it's a solid episode, man. The stakes are high. It's like edge of your seat at certain times. We say hello to new characters. We say goodbye to old characters. We find that some are creepy. We finally got Daryl and Merle reunited. We've got Maggie and Glenn rescued from Woodbury. It's a lot happening. Carl just showing what a little badass he is. We've got new people in the prison for Rick to play with.
To play with.
You stay away from my Rick.
That's my Rick Dick.
That's my Rick Dick. I love him.
He's my boy.
That's my boy.
You my boy, Rick.
You my boy, Rick. You my boy. Pocket
you
condom.
do that so good.
And he's like, which really it's just Dale Gribble, but yeah. It's like, put the condom back in your pocket, Daryl. One day, Rick. One day.
Save it for later.
I'm going to use it on Carol. Laura's dead. Andrea's gone. Carol's about the next best thing I got. Maggie's with Glenn.
Maggie's with Glenn. Yeah, don't go for the 17-year-old child.
Interesting.
He is so gross. Nah.
Yeah, I can agree. I mean, like, part of me is like, I get it, dude. You've been locked up with a bunch of other dudes. You hadn't been laid in like a year or longer. God, you've been in prison, so you probably ain't been laid in forever. And now here's a female in front of you. But at least give her a year or two, dog.
He was definitely somebody's little bitch in prison.
Oh yeah, you know that. Yeah, you know, he was kissing on them hot mouths.
You know what? That's probably
romantical.
why he is the way he is. Like,
he went into prison and just got bitched around by everybody.
Right. That's probably why he just like stands there and holds himself and is like such a little whiny little whatever.
Please don't hurt me. No, I'm gonna hurt you. If you hurt my Rick.
That's my Rick.
Go on, Daryl. I can have friends.
No, you can't. You're all mine.
You're all mine, Rick. But that's going to wrap it up for The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 8. Make sure to comment below. I'm sure there's something we didn't discuss, so let's discuss it in the comments section. And we will be back on Monday to discuss Episode 9. So, in the meantime, be good. Don't forget to go check out MoviePalette.com. Since they are kind enough to be an affiliate of the channel, it's only, fitting that we go buy a little art from them. I've got mine. It looks awesome. Go get yours. I'm Justin.
I'm Jessi.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. Smell you later.
Bye.